Minnesota Vikings fans woke up today to a flurry of speculation, heated debate, and some jaw-dropping suggestions about where this team could go before the season officially starts. And let me tell you, some of the possibilities floating around are enough to make even the most level-headed Vikings fan stop, lean in, and start questioning everything they thought they knew about the current roster and the front office's strategy. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and I'll tell you all about it. It all started when a very intriguing question came up. What would be a surprising move the Vikings could realistically make before the season starts? Now, think about that for a second. It's easy to give basic answers like signing a free agent cornerback like Asante Samuel Jr. or Rasul Douglas. But that's not the kind of surprise we're talking about here. No, this conversation took a totally wild turn when the idea of trading Jordan Addison came up. Yep, you heard that right. Trading Jordan Addison. And while no one is predicting this will happen, the mere fact that it was mentioned says a lot about the kind of innovative thinking being cultivated on this team. But the speculation didn't stop there. What about making a splash by trading for Jalen Ramsey? Sure, Ramsey's situation is messy right now, rumors swirling about him showing up late to practices and meetings. But imagine him under the disciplined culture Kevin O'Connell is building in Minnesota. A late-round pick, maybe a fourth or fifth, could potentially get it done. Ramsey could come in, shut down half the field, and suddenly this secondary becomes a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. It's the type of move that would immediately shift the national conversation about the Vikings' defense. Is it likely? No. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. The mere discussion has fans buzzing. But of course, not all the drama surrounds trade rumors. Let's talk about the looming concerns for this season. On the surface, things look incredibly solid. This roster is stacked. Confidence is high that the floor for this team is as good as any team in the NFL. But if we're being real, if we're willing to lean into the doomsday scenarios, there are a couple of things that could go sideways. The first one is simple but terrifying. What if J.J. McCarthy flops? If the rookie quarterback doesn't find his footing quickly, this entire offense could sputter. Pair that with one of the nastiest post-bye-week schedules in the league, and there's a path to this going sideways. Think about it. After the bye, the Vikings face Philadelphia, 2 games against Detroit, then Baltimore, then Seattle, and somewhere in there, a trip to face Washington. That's a gauntlet. And if McCarthy isn't cooking by then, you could easily see this team stumble to something like a 2-3 start and then be staring down the barrel of a brutal stretch that could define the entire season. But here's the thing. Even with those worries floating in the background, there's an undeniable confidence radiating from the building. This front office believes this is one of the most complete rosters in the NFL. They believe McCarthy is the real deal. They believe the culture they've built under Kevin O'Connell can overcome anything. Speaking of people we don't have to worry about anymore, the fan base let out a collective sigh of relief that there's no more Aaron Rodgers drama hanging over the division. But, of course, the conversation about Rodgers isn't entirely dead. Will he end up in Pittsburgh? Will he land with the Saints? Or is retirement finally knocking at his door? If you ask around, the most realistic option seems to be the Steelers. Rodgers to Pittsburgh just feels like the logical endpoint to this saga. But here's a bold prediction that was floated out. If that happens, Mike Tomlin might suffer his first ever losing season, thanks to Rodgers. You heard that right. The man who has never coached a team below .500 could finally taste that bitter reality. Now shifting focus back to the trenches, an area that's always crucial if you want to contend for a Super Bowl. The question came up, where does the Vikings offensive line rank among the NFL elite? Surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, the answer was clear. This is a top 5 offensive line heading into the season. Detroit and Philadelphia are still the gold standards. The Chargers get their props thanks to some savvy offseason moves. Dallas, with their absurd trio of first-rounders all named Tyler, is expected to reclaim its spot among the elite. And right there, sitting confidently in that 5th spot, are your Minnesota Vikings. This line is built to dominate. And while the offensive line looks locked in, another hot topic revolves around the tight end position. Specifically, what kind of season should fans expect from T.J. Hockenson? Last year was, to put it gently, underwhelming. No touchdowns until garbage time against the Rams. A torn ACL clearly slowed him down, and there were missed opportunities galore, most notably in that Week 18 showdown against the Lions, where he failed to bail out a struggling Sam Darnold. But here's the bottom line, this is a make-or-break year for Hockenson. If he bounces back and proves he's still a top 7 tight end in the league, he's sticking around. If not, don't be surprised if the front office moves on from him next offseason. The good news? J.J. McCarthy has a history of leaning heavily on his tight ends, dating back to his days at Michigan. The early reports say there's already a strong connection forming between McCarthy and Hockenson, strong enough that Hockenson even compared McCarthy's presence to Matthew Stafford's. That's not a comparison you throw around lightly. This leads perfectly into the next question. Who is the biggest X factor for the Vikings this season? The obvious answer is J.J. McCarthy, no debate there. But if you look beyond the quarterback, a strong case can be made for head coach Kevin O'Connell himself. His ability to navigate the growth of a rookie quarterback, maintain the locker room's focus, and steer this team through a brutal midseason stretch will directly determine how far this team can go. His decisions could very well be the difference between a playoff run and a wasted season. And while all this speculation and debate swirls, there's a side conversation that absolutely lit up the fan base. Should Justin Jefferson join the Olympic flag football team? The answer was a resounding yes. Not just as a participant, but as the captain, leading the team, carrying the flag, and bringing home gold. Sure, some fans were nervous about the injury risk. But when you think about it, these guys are competitors. They're wired to win. If Jefferson can add Olympic gold medalists to his resume, why wouldn't he jump at that chance? Just picture it. Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Malik Neighbors forming the most unstoppable flag football wide receiver trio the world has ever seen. And before we get deeper into roster questions, because there are plenty, let's talk quarterbacks again. Specifically, does Max Brosmer actually have a shot to make this roster? Realistically, probably not. His odds are sitting somewhere around 2%. The quarterback room feels set with J.J. McCarthy and Sam Howell locked in, and Brett Rippon likely holding down that third spot thanks to his familiarity with the system. Brosmer is likely destined for the practice squad this year, but don't count him out long term. There's a path where, with a solid preseason and a year of development, he could emerge as QB2 behind McCarthy down the road. All right, Viking Nation, now it's your turn. What do you think about all of this? Do you believe the Vikings should pursue a splash move like trading for Jalen Ramsey? Should Justin Jefferson risk it all for the Olympics? And is TJ Hockenson primed for a bounce-back season, or is this his last dance in purple and gold? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now because I'm diving into every single one. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Go Vikings!